Sunshine. Beachfronts. Homelessness. All things our beautiful city of San Diego is known for. Why does housing cost so much here? Can we fix this problem? Am I qualified to answer these questions? Probably not, but after hours of research, I am prepared to attempt to explain San Diego's housing crisis. New houses are being built wherever you go in San Diego, but it seems like our shortage will never end. How and why is that? In this documentary, I will show how a combination of factors have not only got us into this mess, but are keeping us in it. Before I can talk about that, we need to go back to 2008.
Let me talk to him. Let me talk to him. Let it rain. Let me talk to him. Come on. So they have them apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. The whole club was looking at her. She hit the floor. Next thing you know, shawty got low. Them baggies wet.
The housing bubble bursts and the recession hits the world. With it, San Diego's house construction essentially stalls. Investors buy and sell homes foreclosed and short-sold during the recession, but that's about it. We leave the recession with a newly growing population but nowhere to house them. This graph illustrates just how drastically our city's home production has slowed down. The percentage of housing in a given year that was new hit an all-time low of 0.3% in 2009 and currently sits around 0.8%. This is minuscule compared to the recent peak of 5.2% in 1986, before the recession in the 90s. After that, the percentage stayed low. So, if that was 2008, why are we still having issues? Why do homes cost so much? It's simple, because we're not building enough of them and we don't have many to start with. In the 70s and 80s, San Diego issued about 25,000 housing permits per year to fill communities like Mira Mesa, Scripps Ranch, Rancho Penasquitos, and Carmel Valley. Now, the city struggles to issue under half of that, which is what is needed to support the growing population. Experts say the city has a housing deficit of roughly 140,000 houses, and state officials say the city needs to build 171,685 houses through the next decade. Not only is San Diego not building enough houses, what we are building is all high-end. When the state of California set a goal for San Diego to construct 107,000 new homes for low to moderate incomes between 2003 and 2010, the city met 75% of that goal. Except, 83% of that was for above average income, as shown by this graph. Stephen Russell, executive director of the San Diego Housing Federation, calls the region's housing production a martini glass. Both of these factors result in San Diego homes costing a lot to live in. The median price for a home in San Diego is $655,000. For reference, the median price for a home in the United States is about $200,000, one-third of that. 27% of households can afford this price. Low-income households are often left spending their entire paycheck on rent. San Diego also has the fourth highest homelessness rate in the country. The real question is, how is the government addressing it?
Nearly half of all the homeless people living in the streets in America happen to live in the state of California, What they are doing to our beautiful California is a disgrace to our country. It's a shame. The world is looking at it. Look at Los Angeles with the tents and the horrible, horrible, disgusting conditions. The conditions in Nancy Pelosi's once great city of San Francisco are deplorable. They're deplorable.
As California lawmakers scramble to address the housing and homelessness problems rampant in not just San Diego but the entire state, President Donald Trump blames Democrats for the state's situation. The housing issue is felt statewide as other cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco face their own homeless population and high housing costs. Both the state and city governments have tried to address this issue. Governor Gavin Newsom made affordable housing one of his top priorities in his campaign and term, aggressively policy making to address it.
We're living in a state where over 30% of Californians are spending, or roughly 30% are spending 50% of their income. 50% of their income on rent, which is an extraordinary number.
Meanwhile, the city of San Diego has made many attempts at increasing affordable housing and housing in general. This construction site I visited is one such example, in which an affordable housing complex was demolished and its inhabitants displaced in order to make way for a larger middle-class apartment complex. Mayor Kevin Faulconer has also proposed removing height, density, and parking spot regulations in order to encourage construction of more housing.
To say no to the constant NIMBY movement, to say yes to quality housing that San Diegans can actually afford. And so we're doing several things that are going to be a sea change. We're going to be moving height restrictions for housing that is affordable in our transit priority areas. We're going to be increasing density in those areas with a real focus on making it by right, so you don't have to constantly go through all of the bureaucracy and struggles that make housing not exist sometimes because people fight it, and make it not affordable.
San Diego County has also allocated over half of a new $23 million trust fund to build 453 affordable housing units and is sitting on plans for about 10,000 homes. Rancho Penasquitos itself is the target of 3 plans to build more than 1,400 housing units, including the site I visited, although these have been met with resistance. While city officials praise the 3 projects, residents oppose them on the grounds that a surge in population will overwhelm the local infrastructure and damage community character. Among other things, there is concern over the fact that some of these developments will nearly double the population of their area and how this will affect the neighborhood. City Commissioner James Whalen says the locals will have to adjust. Additional disputes have also arisen regarding the local handling of the housing crisis. San Diego mayoral candidates debated over the issue recently. Todd Gloria saying he supports a rent cap rather than rent control, whereas Scott Sherman thinks regulations shouldn't apply at all and that housing should be determined by the free market. Also, realty and housing experts disagree on where San Diego's focus should even be in trying to solve this issue. J.P. Theberge thinks entry-level and affordable housing should be the city's focus, while Nathan Motor argues that we should be developing housing for all income levels to stimulate the latter. Fact of the matter is, this issue needs to be handled. If San Diego's housing issues are allowed to worsen, negative effects would begin to reach outside of the housing market. Urban sprawl could lead to an over-reliance on cars instead of sustainable transit, raising public health concerns. Additionally, as cities become more sprawling, obesity becomes more likely. Finally, lack of affordable housing would prevent young people from migrating into the city, causing the city to be dominated by old people. In conclusion, housing is a complicated and important issue facing our nation, state, and city. Thank you for watching.
A state
that's untouchable like Elliot Ness. The track hits your eardrum like a slug to your chest. Like a vest for your Jimmy in the city of sex. We in that sunshine state where the bomb ass him be. The state where you never find a dance floor empty and pimp speed. On a mission for them greens. Lean, mean, money making machines serving fiends. I've been in the game for 10 years making rap tunes. Ever since Honeys was wearing Sassoon, now it's 95 and they clock me and watch me diamond shining, looking like a Rob Liberace. It's all good from Diego to the Bay. Yo,